An orchestra is a city taught to obey. A baton is the law disguised as air. Raise it, and 100 hands remember which way to move. But if the law is hunger and the air is a knife, obedience becomes the first casualty and the last prayer. Crimson Sonata, Episode 10, The Devil's Baton. The summons arrives at dawn. Thick paper, thorned seal, gilded words, announcing a charity rehearsal at the Imperial Conservatory. At the bottom, one spare line in lean script. Attend, listen, choose. Adele knows, the conductor wrote it. Madame Roussel studies the page. They want witnesses. Your consent on display, or my refusal, Adele replies. Refusal will be rewritten, Madame says. So give them a sound they cannot paraphrase. The conservatory gleams with false promise columns like flutes, chandeliers heavy with gold. The rebuilt hall is famed for acoustics. A whisper on stage is a compliment in the back row. Tonight, patrons arrive in silk, certain they are buying survival. On stage, the orchestra waits, rows of strings, brass polished, cellos poised. At the center, a podium draped in velvet. Upon it rests a baton, dark wood, matte, absorbing light, not a wand, but a verdict. The conductor enters without flourish, no mask, no cloak, only a coat, the color of rain-soaked stone. He lifts the baton as if it weighs more than wood. Applause hushes before it starts. The first downbeat falls. Strings bloom in unison, seamless, obedient. The sound is breathtaking, too perfect, too controlled. It flatters the ear like sugar flatters the tongue. The audience leans back in their seats, lulled by consensus. Adele remains standing. The music twists. She recognizes fragments of the first vow, transposed, corrupted, mercy repainted as obedience. Every chord seduces with false safety. She feels the room surrendering. She opens her case. The Raven Society man smiles from the wings, watching as though he's bred this moment. Madame folds her hands tight, refusing to beg, but praying nonetheless. Adele lifts her violin. She waits until the orchestra swells toward its triumphant cadence, then pierces it with a single note, G minor. The sound lands like a dark cloth thrown across a banquet. The orchestra stutters. The conductor's eyes find her. He does not silence her. Instead, he lowers his left hand, guiding the players to diminish until her note stands alone. She sustains it, plain and steady. The audience leans forward. For the first time tonight, they are listening instead of obeying. The conductor gestures. The baton curves. The orchestra swells again, reclaiming control. The vows, fragments return, dressed in sweetness, but beneath them pulses something darker. The baton itself vibrates. Adele realizes it is not just wood, it remembers blood. He drives the players harder. Bass rumbles like stone shifting, brass blazes. The line becomes intoxicating, designed to feed on consent. Adele's skin prickles. Even she feels the pull. She resists. She plays her third thing raw, imperfect, human. It stumbles, but does not lie. For a measure, the orchestra falters. Musicians exchange uneasy glances, as if recalling their first lessons before masks and contracts. The conductor narrows his eyes, then twists the baton. The sound fattens, sharpened by appetite. Musicians' faces pale. A horn player's breath stutters, but keeps blowing. The hall itself seems to tighten. Adele shifts tactics. She plays silence rests, where crescendo should be, spaces where hunger cannot bite. The hall steadies. A few players respond, easing, letting air in. One violist's bow shakes with quiet tears. The conductor steps from the podium, leaving the orchestra circling its theme. He walks toward her, baton lifted, not like a weapon, but like a question. They duel in sound. She plays the vow's bones. He answers with harmonies, polished to deceit. She strips them barer. He cloaks them again. She inserts one fragile note that resolves to patience, not triumph. The audience breathes raggedly, caught between beauty and honesty. Then the baton flares. A crimson mechanism hums within the podium, feeding hunger into wood. The orchestra surges, driven by something more than command. Musicians grimace but cannot stop. The sound swallows space. Madame moves swiftly, placing a packet of chalk and ash on the stage. Adele dusts her strings. The next note she draws is sharp, bracing truth with teeth. The orchestra recoils. For the first time, the baton trembles in the conductor's hand. He flips it, reversing the wood so the butt faces the room. A reversed baton is invitation, not command. The orchestra softens, sound shifting from obedience to breath. For 8 bars, the hall hears listening instead of hunger. But the raven acts. He signals the mechanism. The podium hums louder. The baton jerks, remembering appetite, trying to reclaim its law. The conductor presses his palm to the stand. The glow falters. You came for safety, he tells the audience. It costs more than you've been paying. The raven interrupts, smiling like a banker. Intermission. Ushers herd patrons out. Some remain, unwilling to leave the quiet Adele carved. Backstage, chaos, murmurs musicians, shaken, some weeping, some clutching instruments like children. Madame grips Adele's shoulder. You are not done, I know, Adele says. The conductor joins them, eyes lined but alive. They brought a spare device. They will try again. But we can teach the room to resist. When the audience returns, the raven announces a special collaboration. Fräulein Veron joins the orchestra for Vienna's future. Another baton waits in the cradle. The conductor ignores it. He raises empty hands. Musicians tune to him anyway. Adele steps forward, violin steady. She plays the first vow simple, unadorned. The orchestra answers in agreement, not submission. The raven signals the spare device. The hum rises. The baton vibrates. Adele answers with a rest. Silence lands. The hum gnashes, but cannot bite nothing. The device falters, dimming. The raven clenches his jaw. Adele closes with 3 notes, separated by pauses wide enough to sit inside. The orchestra lowers their instruments together, a loud quiet that no hunger can counterfeit. The hall holds still, no applause, no triumph, only listening. A seamstress in the back stands and bows her head. Others follow. Gratitude without choreography. On stage, the conductor lifts the baton and snaps it across his knee. The break is small, final, human. He hands the pieces to Adele. Burn them, not as a threat, as a reminder. Madame whispers. They will change tactics. They will, Adele replies. They'll stage silence, the conductor says. A blackout. Only their devices will speak. Then we'll learn to listen louder than quiet, Adele answers. She tucks the broken baton into her case beside the first vows. Page 1, a warning. 1, a map. Night meets them outside, cool and unearned. They are not victorious, but the hall remembers a habit, listening. For now, that is enough. The baton taught hunger, Adele answered with rests. For a moment, Vienna remembered listening. The society will not forgive. Next, they will weaponize silence itself. Thank you for watching this episode of Crimson Sonata on Veilbound Studios. The music has only just begun, and every note carries Adele deeper into the truth. Be sure to subscribe, share, and join us for the next episode, episode 11, Dirge of Silence, where the city goes dark, and only those who can truly listen will find the way.